I grew up watching Star Trek: The Next Generation. This was one of my favorite episodes as a kid, and the villain in this like totally haunted my dreams. It's this weird mind-controlling alien stop-motion parasite. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Benjamin R. Harrison. I co-host this podcast, The Greatest Generation, one of the most successful Star Trek podcasts out there, which is something I am deeply, deeply embarrassed about. But anyways, my co-host Adam Pranica and I have been thinking about that alien parasite, we call them Nubbin Bugs, for years. And last spring, a friend of ours put us on to a Facebook post where a guy in like Van Nuys was clearing out a warehouse full of old movie and TV props, and he had the original silicone molds that they used to make that prop, that creature effect, and we just had to have it. And we got it. We bought the original silicone master mold of the Nubbin Bug, and we went out to Van Nuys and picked it up. And that's kind of like as far as we'd thought through this thing. We were just like, we want that and we will get it. But we talked about it on our podcast, and a listener out in Atlanta works at a prop company that, and he was like, hey, like that rubber that thing is made of is, I mean, it's fine, but it will decay over time because it's just rubber, you know? Like you need to make like an archival copy of that. My shop is set up to do that. Why don't you send it out and we'll make like archival quality plaster casts of the Nubbin Bug so that it can be like preserved for all eternity. And we're like, what a great idea. We should definitely do that. And so again, like we hadn't really thought much past that, but we sent it out, and then they started scanning them in and making like 3D representations of the Nubbin Bug. This is done with this like digital scanner, and they created a copy in the computer, and from that point we were like, we can 3D print these. We could make Nubbin Bugs and have not just the mold of it, but like the actual object. And so we did. We 3D printed up like 100 of these, and they are getting individually hand painted. They have to be like assembled out of a bunch of parts, but they came out beautiful, and they look just like the bugs in the actual episode because they're cast from the original mold that they used to make the one in the episode. And so here is the final result of this project. We made like the play school style toy box for this thing, and we have 100 of these, and the diehards out there that want one can get information about it at greatestgentour.com, because we're doing my podcast, like we do like a comedy show about Star Trek, and we're doing a live show in LA in November about this specific episode. It's called Conspiracy, and then we're going to be streaming it later in December, and we're selling tickets to all the streaming shows and also a bunch of merch and stuff. But if you're at all curious about what we do, greatestgentour.com. We're a MaximumFun.org podcast if you'd just like to listen to the podcast. But this is like one of the coolest and weirdest projects that I've ever been involved with. And it's just one of those things where like I never thought my career would take me to a strange place like this. Like I feel so lucky to have turned an obsession with a weird alien on TV that I had as a kid into something like this. Like we actually made this thing so that people can get their hands on it, and I'm really proud of it, and so I just wanted to share.